I don't know what Stephanie White's doing exactly. I don't have a clue. Again, I don't know what the identity of this team is. I really don't. It seems like they play a different way every game. One could say, well, that's her game plan. She's game planning for each team. How's that working out for you? You got to win games like this. If you're going to compete for titles, you've got to win games like this. She has got to realize Caitlin Clark is her biggest playmaker. And when the fourth quarter gets there, she's got to quit taking the GD ball out of Caitlin Clark's hands.
I think I have figured out the solution to the Indiana Fever's problems. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This is what we got to do. We got to put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense. So when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does best, we have other players that can still perform. So when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the best way to move forward with this Indiana Fever team.
Okay, enough is enough. This wasn't a loss. It was a complete collapse. The Indiana Fever squandered their opportunity to win the game. Caitlin Clark is struggling for her life as Stephanie White stands there, arms crossed, watching everything burn.
Becky Hammon makes adjustments. Stephanie White adjusts her arms. Becky Hammon makes in-game adjustments. Stephanie White makes arms crossed to arms folded adjustments.
Where are the plays? Where are the adjustments? This team appears confused and lacks seriousness. Don't even get me started on the so-called motion offense. If slipping screens and relying on Caitlin to save the day is the game plan, we're in trouble. Are you curious about the cause of your fever? Let us talk about.
One of the big highlights for Caitlin Clark, this was her against Asia Wilson, pulling up for a long three right in Asia's face. That was nice. It was. No doubt about it. Right here, I saw this. The Indiana Fever, this was in the first half. They were 8 of 11 from the field off of Caitlin Clark passes. All other field goal attempts, 6 of 19. So if Caitlin Clark's not distributing the ball, hell, this team.
You could feel it pass through your screen. The Aces' 10-point lead vanished in an instant, and it didn't feel like they won the game. Instead, it felt like the Fever handed it over with a thank you card and a bow on top. Coach Stephanie White stood there with her arms crossed, watching the entire thing fall apart like a Jenga tower. No timeouts when it counted. There is no energy on the sidelines. No fire. Is there enough urgency and leadership to address the issue of blown leads? Will we continue to pretend everything is fine? Have you heard about the motion offense hype? Where is it? I'm not seeing motion, but rather confusion with footwear. I'm watching a pickup game at the local rec center. Caitlin received no off-ball screens. No flare screens. The system is based on wishful thinking, as there are no staggered acts and everyone is expecting Caitlin will go supernova and save the day. And let's chat. Aaliyah Boston, she scored 18 in the first half. Dominant Smooth was poised for a career night. What did Becky Hammon do during halftime? Switched every screen. Problem solved. Took away the easy layups. What did Stephanie White do to oppose it? Caitlin Clark is taking off balance shots, while only shooting 7 out of 20 and 1 out of 10 from 3. Heavily contested at the end of the shot, the clock heaves in desperation. Despite this, she managed to score 19 points and assist 11 times. For example, she is constantly setting people up. Aaliyah gets fed. Mitchell receives looks. Even Howard receives touches. When Clark needs a bucket of crickets, no one sets up a screen. Nobody cuts with purpose or cares about giving their star an open shot. It's as if everyone is waiting for her to perform a miracle with every item. Why isn't Coach White developing anything for Caitlin to acquire an easy rhythm? Why isn't the offense flowing through her instead of around her? It seems they don't recognize who they have. How much longer do you think Clark can carry this squad by herself? Let's discuss the craziest rotation maneuver of the night. Brianna Turner unexpectedly checks in during a tight game, as if she has been dropping 20 to 10 every night. However, she has not done much of anything. What happens when she turns in missed assignments blocked at the rim? I mean, yikes, Caitlin yells, "Get to the elbow." As if this was her first practice. Here's the twist. Dantas, who is still available, does not play a single minute. Nothing at all. What was the plan to boost Turner's confidence in a nationally televised game? Reward negative behavior and effort. Make your point. Whatever it was, it cost the Fever heavily. Despite the excitement of having depth in the offseason, the Fever roster is presently the deepest it has been in recent years. Yeah, 2 bench points. That's it, 2. Sophie Cunningham 0, Sydney Coulson 0. No spark. No energy. Just a ghost town. AC's bench players shift momentum, allowing starters to relax. Clark plays superhero for 38 minutes while the bench cheers like fans. Where is the growth and coaching to transform role players into contributors? Where is the next level of mentality? Trusting only your top 3 people is not a sign of depth. Currently, the Fever's bench is as functional as a submarine's screen door. Do you have confidence in anyone on the bench? Let's get this out of the way. Blaming the referees isn't the answer. Caitlin gets hit a lot without calling. Unlike previous games, the Fever did not shoot any free throws in the first half. Because they didn't attack, they didn't earn them. This team appears to avoid contact and focuses solely on the three-point line. Swing and pass, no physicality, simply perimeter play with optimism. You need to make calls to escalate the matter. This is what A'ja Wilson did. This is what Kelsey Plum does. Go into the trees to draw fouls and compel the refs to make a decision. The Fever were passive and did not receive whistles. We are not blaming the Stripes for today's issue, but rather the Fever. Please consider all of this carefully. Is Caitlin Clark being overcoached? Her current performance lacks the confidence and fearlessness of the logo assassin from Iowa. She hesitates passing up shots and looks over to the bench before each possession. That is not instincts. That is interference. She feels micromanaged into submission. She hears a voice saying, "Don't shoot that." By adhering to the script, the play eliminates the harmful aspects of the character. It's possible to coach structure without sacrificing originality, but it feels like she's trapped in a system that doesn't allow her to be herself. How long can she continue to play this way before losing her spirit? Let's tell it as it is. Becky Hammond coached this game, while Stephanie White watched it. Becky adjusted coverages, rotated players, and increased pressure after the aces were hit early. She coached Stephanie. She is stuck with the same lineups, schemes, and busted plays. Attempting to achieve results through repetition despite the Fever losing momentum, she did not call timeout until it was too late. Despite losing the lead, she remained calm, almost too peaceful, as if she didn't think anything required mending. If you're wondering why the Fever team loses close games, this is why. The other coach is working. White is watching. Do you think Stephanie White is out of her depth in this situation? Another blown lead and wasted effort. The team's lack of effort and poor coaching led to a missed opportunity for victory. Let's not sugarcoat this. Caitlin Clark is no longer just a talented young player, but a generational player. The fastest to reach 400 assists in WNBA history. A marketing machine, A players' ratings increase as they fill venues and attract attention to the game. How does the Fever regard her as if she were simply another piece? Despite the chaos surrounding her, she remains determined to persevere. How long can she keep smiling in interviews and dragging this team to the finish line without support from the bench and structure? These are not just L's piling up in the standings. These are obvious warning signs. The clock is ticking, and if they do not make a quick course correction, this season will be more than simply a loss. This will be the year they lose. Caitlin. So I will leave you with this. Is this organization willing to recognize their failure, or will they continue to ignore their star players' plight? Leave your opinions in the comments. Hit the like button and subscribe.